Yeah, you can tell it's Sunday. How did everyone enjoy PAX this year? Woo! Awesome. For who is it? This is your first PAX. Oh. Well, I hope you guys had an awesome time and are going to come back next year. Yeah. So, welcome to the Hidden Value of Punching Trees, Minecraft, and the Future of Game Culture. A quick note, please stay the entire time because I have these wonderful items to give away up here. And we'll be doing like some kind of random thing at the end. Yes, actually I am bribing you. And if you're just kind of like hanging out on your phone and you're on Twitter, feel free to hit me up at Alex Leavitt. Just be like, yo, everyone, we got seats in the back and you're missing this awesome panel. Because I know that you have friends who are not here, so bring them here. Yeah, so welcome to the panel. Obviously I'm going to be talking about Minecraft, and I assume that everyone here likes Minecraft, right? Is there anyone here who has never played Minecraft?
I'm sorry.
I think it's funny because the people who have never played Minecraft don't even get the joke that just happened. So I did another version of this panel at Penny Arcade Expo East back in Boston earlier this year. One person had never played Minecraft, and everyone was just like trying to claw out their eyes. So anyway, to begin, so my name is Alex Leavitt. I'm a PhD student. I go to the Annenberg School for Communication down in Los Angeles at the University of Southern California. And I basically study the internet in all its glory. And frequently it does look like this, where I'm just kind of some old dude writing a research paper. But it's a lot of fun, because the internet is awesome, right? And of course, one of the things that is on the internet is Minecraft. So today I'm going to talk not necessarily about the game, but more about what game culture is, and how Minecraft really influences how we think about game culture and how we live game culture. And Minecraft is a really interesting example of this, because the internet is so influential to Minecraft's success. So normally when we think about game culture, it kind of is constituted in these examples. And it ranges from like Leroy Jenkins, to crazy Nintendo Wii accidents, to the Power Glove, and then like one-legged DDR. But then we also have things that are slowly becoming game culture, like this.
Hi guys, just going to go get some questions on how to make indefinite fire for your house or something like that, or a castle, whatever it is that you want to add some kind of fancy effect to. This is my house here, as you can see. Me and Diz have been working on this one. Diz is currently not available. I think he's off in bed or something, maybe. So he gave me a hand with this just before he left. We got it pretty sweet. But we think it needs fire as well. So let's go ahead and just make like a fireplace. We've already made it, as you see. It's intact here. That's a swimming pool. So yeah, apparently all you need is some flint and a log, just to chop down a tree, bit of log. All you do is you put it in the center here like this, and not always, but most of sorry guys, this is not supposed to happen. be kidding me. Seriously? I don't understand what happened. Or, yeah, I need to log in here. Oh, crap. Yeah. What's happening, guys?
So this is a great example of game culture, right? It's games, but it's also the experience we have around and in games. So the emotional connection that we have with the things we build and the things that we accidentally destroy. So I'm coming at Minecraft from like a communications and like a media studies perspective, and I started a research project on Minecraft earlier this year. And I was really looking into three main things. First is the popularity of the game. Like, why is it just so popular, and how did it get popular so quickly?
Because it's awesome.
It is awesome, but there are other reasons.
Double awesome.
Second is the community, or even if we can call it a community. And then the third is the interesting development of the game. Because it's an indie game that got popular really quick, and it's still not finished, right? So that's kind of weird. So to actually dive into these topics a little bit, here's what I'm really going to be talking about. The first is the networks of players that really influence the game. The second is the platforms and these online spaces that we inhabit to kind of push game culture out to other people. And then finally, this concept of like open source. And I'll explain what that means and why there are quotes around it later. But yeah, so I started this research project, and you can find more about it at MinecraftPhD, which is at this URL. If you can't see it, I'll put it up later. It's just tinyurl.com/MinecraftPhD. And so I've been doing some interesting things. Like a couple weeks ago, I did a questionnaire. I put it out for 1 week and got a surprisingly quick amount of responses, which was like 3,500. Not surprisingly, it was about 90% male. But at the same time, the survey wasn't like really representative of Minecraft players, so I can't necessarily be like, oh, all 90% of players are male. But it is a really interesting way to look at how practices kind of like are embedded in the player network. And I looked at things like Reddit and Twitter, podcast users, people who are really engaged with the Minecraft community. And I'm really hoping to do later some interviews with like fans, modders, and the development team. So there is kind of like a disclaimer, of course. Basically, everyone here, and I learned this at PAX East, and I kind of explained this a little bit before, you guys know a lot about Minecraft already. Which I didn't realize at the very first time I did this, so I was like explaining all the basics, like how you build stuff, and people were just like, oh man, this sucks. We want like just to watch videos and crap. So I don't think I necessarily have to explain who Notch is. I assume you guys all know that. Really the origins of Minecraft, so for those who don't know, it started with this game called Infiniminer that he was looking into. It had the same kind of blocky structure, and Notch was really influenced by things like Roller Coaster Tycoon and Dwarf Fortress. And I really don't have to explain what you do in Minecraft, like build these crazy giant objects. But I really also don't think I need to explain the experience of Minecraft, because this is really everyone's experience, right? You enter the world, you have no idea what you do, you realize you can punch a tree, and then the world just blows up in your head. And Ben Kershaw, who you guys probably know as Yahtzee, also really nails it on the head with this review.
But as I was trying to think of something to do with all these rocks, I noticed a nearby mountain and thought, you know what that's crying out for? A skull fortress. Eyes that weep lava flows because he's depressed by all the kamikaze shrubs. So I started flattening out a nice courtyard. The next thing I knew, 9 hours had passed and I was picking out wallpaper for the banqueting hall.
So it's really easy to get addicted to this game, right? Even though one interesting thing that came out of the questionnaire is that a lot of people only reported 1 to 3 hours of playing per sitting. So, I don't know if people are lying about that. But, again, so I'm going to try to explain why these three things, networks, platforms, and this concept of open source, are really important to the future of game culture, And I'm going to use Minecraft basically as my example today. So let's start with networks. Our basic knowledge of Minecraft is that it just got really popular really, really quickly. And in a sense, like you could call this that it like went viral. It's kind of like common internet parlance. But its popularity was really scary. And you know something's really popular when it gets more popular than God in Google search terms. And you can see this happen just at the end of 2010, which is really important to keep in mind. And you'll notice that the blue line up there, which is the one for Minecraft, it only really started at the beginning of 2010. So we're only talking about a span of like a year and a half. So the development of Minecraft was really interesting about a couple months into last year, so like the fall of 2010, because so many people were buying it so quickly. So for example, on September 22nd, 2010, Notch sold almost 26,000 copies of the game in less than 24 hours, which is insane for an indie game. And he was making, quote unquote, $250,000 a day, which is awesome, but also really insane, right? And so he said things like, I didn't really know how the sales numbers would progress. There really weren't any games to compare it with, so was it just a fad? But the interesting thing, though, is that it's a worldwide phenomenon. So, like, we're at PAX Prime, and we're really thinking in kind of like a US-centric view. But if you look at how many people are really interested in Minecraft, just like from Google searches, for example, you'll see that it's all over the world. So like Norway, Australia, Denmark have the highest ones. Sweden, of course, is up there for obvious reasons. And like the United States is only 8th. So it's become a really worldwide phenomenon. But the importance is really that people participate, right? So we have like a community in kind of this like vague terms, but I kind of want to push back against that a little bit. There's a lot of online participation, and that's kind of like why Time named you as the Person of the Year in 2006, because YouTube was wicked popular, and people were just putting thousands and thousands of hours of content online. But it's kind of difficult to necessarily call it a community, because we're talking about a very global phenomenon where the different types of things that people do and who they are vary very widely. We're talking about people who just play the game, to people who participate in forums, people who go all the way to making videos and creating mods. So when we think about like what is a community, we're really talking more about like what a network of players is that revolves around all this user-generated content. So it's this network that's built around these digital objects that we put online that relate to Minecraft, like wikis and videos and servers. And it's these kind of digital artifacts that solidify the network of people, more so than like personal relationships, like playing with some friends on Xbox Live. So if we want to delve a little bit into that concept of a network, we can really look at the importance of online spaces where this network, quote unquote, of players participate. So I think that this story from Penny Arcade illustrates an interesting example. So Gabe's son basically never used a walkthrough when he was playing Minecraft. He was just like figuring it out by himself, learning all the recipes, and then he asked his dad, well, where can I go to find more recipes? And his dad introduced him to the Minecraft wiki, and the kid's mind was blown. Just like, oh my god, there's all this information out there. And then he found YouTube, and his world was just completely destroyed, because he was able to figure out all these cool recipes to build, and all these cool like walkthroughs that he could watch. And it's really interesting how these spaces influence our understanding of the game. But it's really important that they were only created by this kind of like very loose network of players working together to organize information about the game, rather than just playing to socialize. So if we look at practices that emerge from all these players, information sharing is a very huge one. So we have websites like Minecraft Wiki, but this is very, very different from old ways of information sharing, such as through things like Nintendo Power and other gaming magazines, where you can't just go online and get all this information. It was very like a top-down approach, where you have a small number of people producing all the information about the game that you then circulate amongst your friends. And this information sharing is becoming really, really big. So using wikis is nothing new, but for example, in 2010,